News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show. And coming up on today's show, what should you do to keep your air conditioner in top working condition? Also, you won't believe which type of fish is actually illegal to keep at home. And laundry mistakes you probably are making, so am I, every day. Once again, good morning. Bob Sokoler, Louisville Real Estate Show. Thank you for staying with us till the top of the hour. We've got a great show in with us. Folks who will be fielding the questions that are coming from you, our listeners. We've got Chuck Crosby. He is the head guy over at the Crosby Law Offices. They do a great job of getting your real estate closed, your transaction closed, but he also does wills, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sales, and more. And as Chuck says, if he doesn't do it, he knows someone who does. You can reach Chuck, and I give out his number all the time, 499-6360. Also here, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service. They come in as a team. They do a great job of getting your home inspected, whether it's new or a resale. Also, he owns Team Bug Out, which comes in and gets rid of those pesky pests that may be invading your home this time of the year. We'll be talking to him about those items and more. And again, Bob Sokoler, if you were thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I'd love to be able to help you. There's no home too big, no home too small. I work both in the Louisville, surrounding counties, and in southern Indiana. You can reach me anytime on my cell phone, 376-5483. That translates into 376 live. Also, you can go to bobsellslouisville.com. That's bobsellslouisville.com. And for a free computer analysis, you can go to WeSellLouisville.com and click on the top of the page. All right, gents, we are ready to get rolling here. Let's start with Chuck Crosby at the Crosby Law Office. Kathy loves fish, all types. I did too. I had a lot when I was growing up. I used to keep them in an aquarium. But she says she owns several large tanks ranging from 55 to 125 gallons of water. And she writes that she's always been fascinated by James Bond movies and piranhas. I think piranhas in a Bond movie. She says a friend says it's illegal to raise piranhas in her Jefferson County home. And she's wondering, is that true? Chuck Crosby.
Well, first off, I want to deal with the white elephant in the corner.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a Bond movie with piranha, but it was with Timothy Dalton. And he's not really Bond, so that doesn't count.
Oh,
Ouch.
that hurt.
Yes, with that said,
Yeah.
yes, it is illegal to have piranha. We can't have them ending up in our waterways. They would be hugely invasive. And Kentucky has said, no, you can't keep them. You can't transport them. You can't put them in an aquarium in your living room. But if you did, keep in mind they have a firm white flesh that is very flavorful.
Oh, all right. So obviously you may have tasted a piranha or two once in your life.
Well, they eat them down in South America.
Oh.
It's a food source.
And lionfish are also a delicacy in places like Jamaica.
Lionfish are
right?
excellent. And all throughout the Caribbean, hugely invasive species. You got to be real careful with the lionfish because they have those spikes all over them, but they are very tasty.
And they're poisonous as well if you eat
Very
the cord-
poisonous, yeah.
cord portion.
Yeah.
So, all right. A reminder, you can see and hear this show, a replay of this show, by going to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's a redirect to our YouTube channel where we have a lot of our videos residing. All right, this one going over to Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service. Hannah sent us an email for all of us who have whole house air conditioners, maybe even if you have a window unit. You may want to pay attention. She's turned on her HVAC for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it made a loud humming noise. And she says it's still working, but it's noise. She's wondering what it could be. I'm not sure you're going to be able to diagnose
Yeah.
this.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
Right. But there are some things. So here's what I would say.
Yeah.
If you have any sort of odd sound coming from your air conditioner, be it the outside condensing unit, be it from your air handler inside, whether it's in your attic, in a utility closet, in a basement, wherever it might be. If you hear an odd sound, make sure that you call your HVAC tech. Have a trusted HVAC tech come out, service that unit twice a year. Make sure that it keeps it in peak running condition. I was thinking about this just a few weeks ago. We had a client who had to replace a unit at a cost of about $8,000. And he knew that he was having some problems with it, but he ignored it. and didn't deal with the issues, chances are it could have been repaired for a few $100s, but he waited too long, and then he ended up with an entirely new unit. So maintenance is really important, particularly if you want to save some money, and that would be, I think, on everyone's to-do list right now, is save a few bucks. So get that maintenance done. And if you hear something odd, call the HVAC tech.
Is there anything we should be doing right now, Brad, to get the HVAC units tuned up? I think probably change your air filter.
Change,
right?
yeah, change the air filter, and we should be doing that on a regular basis, whether it's monthly, whether it's every other month or so, depending on the type of filters you're using. Also, as we go back into air conditioning mode, make sure that you go out and carefully rinse off the outside unit. Clean all that dirt off, maybe the grass clippings, things that get stuck to it, because that's going to help the system run that much more efficiently. A good HVAC tech will do that as part of a spring tune-up or spring check, but it's something that a homeowner can do too. Just get the dirt rinsed off outside, get the air filter changed, and that'll go a long way in keeping you comfortable this summer.
Do the big box stores have a spray of some sort that you can spray on the condenser to help clean it?
You can. I just use garden hose. You don't want to use a pressure washer. You don't really remember, those are all aluminum fins, so they can be damaged. A dog, if your dog uses it as a restroom facility, make sure that you keep that rinsed off, because that is very corrosive to the aluminum. So yeah, but just plain water, just a little garden hose and a little bit of pressure to it, and you'll be really all you need. You don't need soap or any of that.
Yep. If you're going to pick an HVAC company to come out and inspect or just do a service on it, make sure you read their reviews, because that can be very telling.
Well, and I'd even caution you there. I mean, talk to somebody that you know. Reviews are certainly important, but just make sure you're reading all the reviews, not just handpicking a few of them that sit up at the top. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, good. If you'd like to see what sellers actually say about us, we interview sellers at their closing table. I just put one up recently, which pertains to for sale by owners. If you're thinking about selling for sale by owners, you want to definitely go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. That's LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. And in just a couple of minutes, laundry mistakes you're probably making every day. Probably all of us are making every day. Chuck Crosby Law Office. Steve wrote in that he had heard about scams where a person claims to be the owner of a home but is not, and then tries to rent out to collect the security deposit and first month's rent.
Yeah.
You've heard this too.
Oh, I've had it happen. I've had people call in, and it does happen here in town.
Yeah. Steve says he's looking forward to buying his first home this year, and he's wondering, how does he know, and we know, the seller who is collecting money at a closing table is actually the owner of the home? So he's taking that one step further.
Yeah. There's a few things we do. There's actually online sites that to which we belong that will determine who a person is and that they are indeed the folks selling. But there's a lot of information that we gather when we run a title to find out who it is that's selling, and making sure that the person that shows up is the actual seller. There's a lot of times, though, and it seems to be all the more frequent, where the sellers will be, quote, out of town or not able to come to closing, which always raises red flags. I actually had one this last year where a fellow, I'm having surgery, I can't be at closing, let's do everything by email and blah blah blah. So we get talking, and strangely, when I start asking pointed questions, all of a sudden we have a bad connection. Can you just send me an email? And that's a huge red flag. Turns out this guy was not our seller. But whenever the sellers aren't going to be there, there is a heightened check that we do, among which is the online program that will use whatever information they get from wherever to contact them and verify that they are indeed that person.
All right, good. But that hopefully sets his mind at ease.
And title insurance, by the way. Always get title insurance. It covers that kind of thing.
Yeah. Steve, hope you feel better about that. Brett Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service. Peter has eyeballs on a new problem all of us as homeowners might be facing. In this email, he says he saw carpet beetles He knows they were carpet beetles because he took a picture of them and sent them to an exterminator who confirmed it. So he's wondering, are they new to our area, and are we worried about them coming to our homes? Brad.
All right. It's interesting because I've been getting a lot of carpet beetle calls, in
Oh,
fact. So carpet beetles do live on natural fibers. So if you have carpets in your home that are wool, they're not synthetics, that are maybe linens, there's some higher end carpets that the beetles will feed on. They also feed on animal fur. So if you have dogs and cats, they will also feed on that type of product. So there are generally you can control them with vacuuming them up. There are dusts that can be applied. I would tell you probably unless you're a pest control professional, you're probably not going to want to use some of the sprays that are available out there. I had a client here just a few weeks ago that kind of oversaturated some carpet with a product that she bought off Amazon, and it ended up staining her rugs and made a mess and also damaged the floor that was underneath it. So, yeah, carpet beetles are little black beetles. Many of them you're going to find little specks. They're about this. They're roughly the size of the what we call the ladybugs. Just for perspective, maybe a little bit smaller and slimmer. But yes, we're seeing lots and lots of them out there, and they just show up for no uncertain or specified reasons. But if you see anything like that, feel free to give Team Bug Out a call. I look at pictures that people send in to us all the time just to identify, but relatively easily controlled, but not something people are used to seeing for sure.
good information. We're going to take a break. By the way, Brad mentioned earlier about the reviews, making sure that they're legit, but also making sure that you go deep. And we have reviews, and you've heard me talk about them. And I challenge you, go deep. Where we try to do the very best possible. Go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com. Read our reviews. It's impossible to game that system because they verify and check each review. So take a look. We're very proud of those. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some of the mistakes that we may be making, including me, when it comes to laundry. Continuing with us after the break, we've got Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out. We've made it easy for you to reach out to him for inspections or for some pest control. You can reach him at 844-411-TEAM. Also, continuing with us, Chuck Crosby, the owner of the Crosby Law Offices. They do a great job at real estate closings, getting your loan closed, but also wills, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, and commissioner sales. You can reach Chuck and his team at 499-6360. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I'd love to be able to help you. All you need to do is give me a call. No home too big, no home too small. It's a free, no obligation consult. And I come out, we talk. It's me. You can reach me at 376-5483. That translates into 376 live, or go to bobsellslouisville.com and fill out the form. And for a free computer analysis of what your home is worth, go to WeSellLouisville.com and click on the top of the page. Back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show. Thank you for staying with us, continuing with us. And by the way, thank you, Barbara Corcoran, who continues with us. I think we're more than 10 years now with Barbara as a mentor, and she does a great job over on Shark Tank. Continuing with us, Chuck Crosby, owner of the Crosby Law Offices. They do a great job for real estate closings. That's really what you want, someone who crosses the T's and dots the I's, and that's Chuck. You can reach him and his group at 499-6360. Also continuing with us, Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service and Team Bug Out, so you can get your home inspected, but also inspected for bugs if you've got a problem with them. Brad and his crew can help you, and his number is 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I'd love to be able to help you. I work not only in Louisville, but surrounding counties and in southern Indiana, and it's a free, no obligation estimate. I come out, we talk. You can reach me at 376-5483 or 376-LIVE, or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form. And also, if you want a free computer analysis, go to WeSellLouisville.com and click on the top of the page. Well, okay, we all do it. We do laundry. At least most of us do it. But do you know, we may be doing that laundry incorrectly. We've got a list of some of the problems, things we do wrong.
Here's what I get confused by, and I'm going to admit it. So if I'm using an HE detergent, the high efficiency detergent, right? Which line do I fill it up to in the cup? Does that mean I have to go back and read the owner's manual?
Well, that's a good question. I look at there's a line in the.
Well, I have two lines in my dispenser cup, and I don't know. And that's where I hate to say I'm not qualified to do laundry. as I do laundry, but I always fill it to the lower mark, and I always wonder if is that the right thing because I admit I didn't read the instruction manual.
Oh, well, I just fill it. The one I bought has automatic fill. You put it in there as much as you want it
Oh,
on knock dispenses, but there is too much. You can be using too much. And then what it does is it doesn't mean cleaner. Excess detergent can leave residue, trap dirt, cause buildup in your washer.
Yeah.
Also, ignoring care labels on your laundry, that could be a real concern, a real problem. If it says don't use hot water and you use hot water, right? Overloading the machine, I'm guilty of that, putting
yeah.
too much in there and stuffing too many items that are not going to get properly clean, not sorting properly. So you want to mix light colors with light colors, dark colors with dark colors, and that's something new to me. I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't realize that. Also, using too much fabric softener. If your machine dispenses automatically, you're in luck. You don't have to worry about it. Leaving wet clothes in the dryer, so letting damp clothes sit for too long will lead to mildew, bad smells. I just realized recently on one of the machines that I have, actually, you can delay the machine washing until about when you get home, so it's freshly washed. Also, not cleaning your washer. And we've talked about this in the past. There are these little things you can buy. Amazon's got them. You stick it in the washer and it cleans the washer without any clothes in it. You do a cycle, which helps to get rid of residue and dirt. Also, using the wrong water temperature for clothes. Yeah, that's a problem. Skipping the lint trap in the dryer, which is a fire hazard as well. Correct, Brad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drying everything on high heat can be a problem because it can shrink, fade, or damage fabrics over time. Not turning clothes inside out. That's a new one for me as well, where you turn them inside out. I'm not sure what it does, but my wife
Yeah.
does that all the time. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I could it what it does, it prevents color transfer. So if you've got like jeans, things that will offset color to color. So
Okay.
that's you turn them inside out, you prevent that from happening.
And finally, ignore washing the stains before you put that in the wash. So there's like shout and
Agreed.
you can spray on there and helps
Yeah.
get the stains
There's
out.
I think there's one other one, Bob, too. A lot
Yeah.
of these our front load washers for sure have a filter in the front. So you want to make sure that that filter down probably beneath the panel is kept clean too, because it does get gunked up and will make things a little bit stinky.
Can we, as normal people, be able to get into that and
Yeah,
clean that?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
just a little panel that pops off, and you just pull it out, clean it, rinse it off, screw it back in.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'll look for that online today. All right. Back over to the questions. Chuck Crosby, Crosby Law Office. Andrea wants to raise chickens for their eggs, but she lives in the city of Louisville, and she's afraid neighbors would complain. But she wants to know in this email, could she raise chickens? And she found a home that she's living in Oldham County.
I have never looked at raising chickens. I do know that when I lived downtown, my neighbors had a whole bunch of chickens and the eggs were delicious. So, yes, I believe you can do that. Whether you need a permit or not, I'm not entirely sure. And I'm betting that there are a variety of subdivisions that have restrictions that say absolutely not.
So really,
So
the first thing is
you're looking
check.
at a layer of things here. You're looking at, first off, does the health code, does the city prevent it? I don't think the city does, but I do know that a lot of HOAs, a lot of deed restrictions prevent the raising use of anything other than what would be considered domestic animals.
Oh, chickens are not domestic, then you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying that. Yeah, pot-bellied pigs is what comes to my mind. Clearly, could be a farm animal, might not be, but there was a big brouhaha back 20, 30 years ago about whether subdivisions could be forced to allow pot-bellied pigs.
Yeah, I know I've got family members who live in J-Town, and one of them has a neighbor with a rooster. I don't
Yeah.
really understand the purpose of a rooster, but man, that thing sounds off all day
Yeah,
long.
and chickens are just they're mean. I'm sorry, I've raised chickens. They're mean, but fresh eggs are nice. Fresh
But
eggs are nice.
Chuck, for those who listen to our show on a regular basis, could you not bake a pie and bring it to the chicken and offer? Okay, never mind. Sorry.
No, the chickens don't generally eat apple pie, is my
Yeah.
understanding.
Okay. You never know.
Yeah.
If you need to sell a home, you want a cash offer, we can help you with that. It's one way that we help you sell your home. You can go to LouisvilleHomesales.com to get top dollar, LouisvilleHomesales.com. Over to to Brad Lawler, Home Team Inspection Service. James read recently about a family that was found dead in their home because of carbon monoxide poisoning. I think I remember reading about that. He says that since buying a house in Jefferson County, he's well aware of the need for a 10-year lithium non-removable battery smoke detector. But he is wondering, why is there not some sort of requirement to have something that monitors carbon monoxide in the home? And better yet, he's wondering, is there any recommendation that we would make for a carbon monoxide monitor?
So it's a really outstanding question.
Yeah.
Fire safety is certainly top of mind for everybody. But if you have gas-fired appliances in your home, whether that's a stovetop or a range in your kitchen, whether that is a gas water heater, whether that is a gas heater, you definitely need to have a carbon monoxide detector. They are not that expensive. You can buy them. They plug into the wall. They plug into an outlet. You put them down near where those appliances are. And they may be $40. You can probably get one with a battery backup for a few dollars more than that, and they are definitely lifesavers, no different than a smoke detector is. So lots of choices. The Kitty and the First Alert are the ones that you see out there. Been out for years and years, available at any big box store, retailers. Please, if you have natural gas coming into your home and you've got things with pilot lights and other things that heat up, get at least one carbon monoxide detector for at least the lower levels of the home.
Yeah, James brought up a very interesting point, though, Brad. Why isn't there a requirement that counties require? We do smoke detectors.
Right. I know it's an interesting question, and when we're doing home inspections, that's one of the things that we're looking for. We're obviously looking for evidence of backdrafting, which is where the carbon monoxide poisoning comes from. Making sure that appliances vent properly, but we just simply can put it in as a note. But yeah, there's no specific code or requirements out there for the carbon monoxide detector, so not sure.
That's unusual and unfortunate as well. If you'd like to see the future of home photography, we've got it up there on the website. Go to Louisville3D.com. That's Louisville3D.com. Over to Chuck Crosby in the Crosby Law Office. Connie says she lives on the south side of Louisville. A home across the street has been vacant. Grass is starting to get out of control and trash accumulating on the lawn. She's wondering, can she call police? Can they force the owner to keep the property in good condition, or what should she do, Chuck?
Well, in a case like that, you call code enforcement. The police aren't going to do anything. They'll just tell you to call code enforcement. And they can go out. They can cite the property. They can do all kinds of things. And then after a while, and it is a while, they can go in and clean it up. And then they place liens against the property for each of those steps along the way. But it's always been my thought that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So call them on a regular basis saying, hey, called you about the grass that was an inch too high last week. Now it's 3 inches too high. Next week.
They're going to love you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. But they do have an outfit that is required to go through and do all that. Now, Louisville's a big county. But.
All right. I think we have time. One more question for Brad Lawler. Samantha owns a condominium, and we've been getting a lot of condominium questions over the past couple of weeks, folks. She owns a condominium, experienced a leak in her ceiling where the chimney is from at the fireplace. She's wondering, is that typically due to flashing? And Chuck, you may want to jump on this because I know we had something like this a week ago. Is that a flashing problem, a chimney problem, or something else? And she wants to know whether to call a roofer, a brick person, a condo association person to talk about the condo fixing it. Yeah, go ahead first.
Yeah, I was going to say just from where the leaks come, yes, it could be flashing around the chimney. Yes, it could be from a leaking cap or leaking wash across the top. Yes, it could be from a flue. There's all different places where a chimney can leak. Now, who's responsible for it? I'll let Mr. Crosby answer that one. But who fixes it? Typically, the roofer would be the first person that I would call to check in. A mason, may be required to fix bricks if it's leaking, but the roofers typically do all of the connections or waterproof the connections from the chimney to the roof and the structure.
Yeah, and we'll get to Chuck in a quick second. Just to let you know, if you need a vendor like a roofer or brick person, you can call me. I'll give my number out in a bit because we've got a list of people who we think do a really good job. We won't give their names out unless we think they're doing a good job. And so, Chuck, that final point then, who is responsible? Condo association?
Well, it depends on what the problem is, first off.
Yeah.
But typically, if it's a roof issue, it's going to be the HOA, unless the governing documents say otherwise. There are a couple of condominium regimes here in town that, you're basically in charge of everything, but that's really rare. I can only think of a couple. So you'd get in touch with the HOA and say, hey, you need to go out and get the roof fixed. Now, when they get their guy out there and their guy says, oh, no, it's that water pipe that you ran up through here that's got a leak or whatever, well, then it'd be on you. Just keep in mind that with condos, you've got common elements, you've got limited common elements, and then you have your own personal elements. And the HOA takes care of the common. There may be a mix of liability with limited common, but typically with a roof, it's going to be the HOA.
Got it. All right. And with that, we are done. Put a fork in us because we are done. We want to thank Chuck Crosby.
Like a firm, white-fleshed piranha?
There we go. Back to the piranha question. We thank Chuck Crosby, owner of the Crosby Law Offices. They do a really great job of getting your loan closed. You can pick the closing attorney that you want. Chuck's a great guy. They do that. They do wills. They do powers of attorney, foreclosure defense commissioner. So you can call Chuck at any time. 499-6360. Or thanks also to Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service. They come in as a team. They are the #1 home team inspection service now 10 years in a row. That's saying a lot. You can reach Brad for inspections or for Team Bug Out, which gets rid of those pesky pests. Right. That invade your home. You can reach Brad 844-411-TEAM. And if you're thinking of selling and buying a home, I can help you. There's no home too big, no home too small. I come out, it's me, it's a free, no obligation estimate, and we talk about the process as long as you want. You can reach me on my cell phone, 376-5483. That's 376-LIVE. Or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com and click on the link there and fill out the form and hit submit. And then you can also go to WeSellLouisville.com to get a free computer analysis of what your home is worth. Next week, experts tell us the 3 biggest mistakes we're making when we try to have the greenest grass in the neighborhood. That's coming up next week. We're out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.